Hello everyone and welcome back to the Adventures in Collecting YouTube channel, where we take a closer look at the toys we talk about on the show. And I'm back today with a special midweek unboxing. This is going to air before our next Wednesday one. I got something really cool in the mail from Amazon. I got the Magneto and Xavier Professor X 2-pack Marvel Legends. These are starting to hit now. I believe by the time this airs, the street date will have broken for them at Target, so you will be able to find these in the wild. They are currently in stock on Amazon, so if you do order them, you should be able to get that Prime shipping and get it pretty quickly. So initially, I was on the fence about this set. I was not going to get it. I have a sinking suspicion that as the MCU continues to grow, we will get a new Professor X and Magneto. However, I started to see some more figure photography and videos of this 2-pack out there and decided that, after seeing some of the head sculpts, that I needed it. So I do have the Wolverine Amazon exclusive. You can see him back there, and I do have the Deadpool figures, and they all look fantastic. I do, looking at this, we'll get into it, but I do have some problems with some of the head sculpts, but some of them I think are gorgeous. So real quick, let's go over the box. We have that X-Men Fox blue packaging that we've been seeing across all of the Fox X-Men figures, along with the really great silhouette art that is on the back and the sides. So along with Deadpool and Negasonic, this is the only other 2-pack. They of course have that red packaging, so this is kind of unique to them. The other 2-pack, of course, is the New York / San Diego Comic-Con Pulse exclusive that features Logan and Xavier from James Mangold's Logan film. I did decide to pass on that, as I was not going to double dip on these characters. I feel like the Guinea Tea version of Wolverine that we reviewed earlier is kind of it's really the quintessential look for that character in the franchise, and and then this, of course, you technically get 4 figures for 2 bodies here, and it's the same wheelchair as the other 2-pack. So without further ado, let's pop this open and let's take a look at these two.
Charles Xavier, have you come to rescue me?
Sorry, Erik, not today.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Out. Now, what can be said about value for this pack? You do get a lot. So, there is a $5 upcharge on these Fox figures. Instead of being $20, they're retailing for $25, so the set does cost $50. But that being said, you do get quite a lot here. So, as I mentioned, you do get a series of head sculpts, which you are seeing now. And I'm going to rank them now in order of the ones that I love and the ones that I hate. So we're looking at the Magneto head sculpt. So the one that I'm going to choose to display on this figure is the head sculpt of Ian McKellen with the mask on. I think this is by far the best one. I think up next then you have the Ian McKellen head sculpt without the mask. Some of these I've seen have some QC issues where the head and the hair are a little bit separate, but mine is pretty good. So you can see it there, that there is a little bit of separation, but still great likeness. Next is the Michael Fassbender kind of grimacing with the helmet on. That is the next best one for this character, and then by far the worst head sculpt, and mine even has a strange blemish on it. But I do not think that this looks like Michael Fassbender at all. This is like a rare but big swing and a miss in terms of likeness and recreation. You can see, this just looks kind of like a generic guy head, which works great for kit bashing. If you're army building shield agents, or you just kind of need like a human head, this is a good one that you can use. So as I mentioned, I will definitely be displaying it like this, like the helmeted look. It's a really, really nice head sculpt. With the helmet, it really captures that look from, let's say X2. Moving on to Professor X, Xavier here, you get 2 head sculpts with him, And this one is easy. So the Patrick Stewart head sculpt looks fantastic. It absolutely looks like Patrick Stewart in every way. The shading is a little bit dark in some places, but it is a great head sculpt. Then you have this bald head that's supposed to be James McAvoy, but I don't see it. This does not look like James McAvoy to me. This is another rare swing and a miss. And especially from these Fox X-Men figures that have been so accurate to the actors who portrayed the characters. I find it shocking that two of these heads are just so off. But getting back to the value, you do have the ability, should you want to display these characters in a series of formats. Now, other things that you get in terms of value with this set. So you do get a wheelchair, which is really neat. And the wheelchair, some assembly required, goes together really, really quickly. It took me all of 30 seconds to put it together. You pop the rear axle in, and then you pop the two wheels on. The wheels click in, hold the axle in, and boom, that's it. As I was just describing it there, I was actually putting it together. So really nice wheelchair. Again, for figure photography, for accessories, it is a great add-on to the set. And Xavier sits well in it. In both forms, he has a series of hands. So you get let's see, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 5 hands for Xavier. So he has the ability to do kind of the forehead. I'm using my powers thing. He has the reach out hand, and then he has two reach out hands, excuse me, and then he has 2 grippy hands. So you can actually have him gripping the wheelchair, though he doesn't actually need to do that, right? Because he can move it with his mind. Getting into the actual figures themselves, a lot of what we're seeing on Xavier here is nothing particularly new. It looks like he's the typical kind of male suited body, especially in the legs. The deco is nice. I like the soft kind of vest part that works as his jacket and his vest. He does have the tie underneath, which on mine is a little askew, so I might have to pop the vest off to move the tie around a little bit. But it's great. They nailed the kind of blue color, the white shirt. It's a classic film accurate version of Professor Xavier. So I mean, it's that iconic look. Now, in terms of articulation on this figure, so again, the suited body, we have the double jointed knee, which moves quite substantially. We have the ankle pivot. Again, with this character, as long as he can sit in a wheelchair and move his arms, the articulation is fine. And he can absolutely sit in a wheelchair, and because of that flexible rubber, you can see he bends really well. The arms, same thing. So we have the double jointed elbow. We have the articulated wrist, back and forth. Obviously no need for butterfly joints or anything on here, but he does have the bicep swivel. So you do get a full, range of motion, with his arms. He can very clearly do his head thing. We'll pop off a hand real quick just to kind of show. But again, it's nice too to have just another, another male suited body, for kit bashing and for toy photography and everything. So, there's a lot of value in this figure. The one thing I have to say with the head sculpt on, there is a lot of gap there in the back of the neck. Again, he's going to be sitting in a chair looking this way. You're probably not going to see that gap back there, but it is there. Something to take note of. Now, moving on to, we'll go back to Magneto here. So Magneto, there is a lot new going on here. There's a lot of new sculpting. It looks like these legs and torso are all new. We got an all new cape that we've never seen before. The cape does come off, so I will show you that real quick here. We just pop the head off and then the cape comes off. Without the cape, though, the neck does look a little bit long to me. I don't know if you could really see that there, but the neck does look a little bit long without the cape, which is kind of the case too with the Cable figure, if you remember. That extra sculpting there in the neck, the extra length there, is to make the cape look a little bit more natural once it's on. Plus, you know, if he's got the helmet on, chances are he's got the cape on too. You know, I don't recall him not having one and then the other. But in terms of articulation, you know, oh, again, sorry, we do get some additional hands with him. So he has 2 fists and 2, you know, power-using hands. Articulation, we have a double-jointed elbow, and this is our new pinless joint system in the elbow again here, which is great. Love to see it. We have just regular ball joints at the shoulders, and we have the ability to rotate at the wrist and, you know, the pivot back and forth, which is great. In terms of head articulation, he can look up really high and he can look down considerably low. Again, considering that he has a helmet on and that there's the cape, he does have that double joint system in his neck, which is great. Not really much of an ab crunch here. There is some sculpted on soft plastic, as you can see, kind of bendy here, that is going to prevent that full ab crunch. So he does have the upper abdominal articulation, but that's about it. He can rotate, you know, lean side to side though with it. It is a good amount of articulation considering that it's one joint. And he can lean back pretty far. And they did make the texturing in there so that when he does lean back, that kind of breastplate and abdomen plate split, but there is texturing under there. So it looks like it, you know, there are 2 different pieces, which is nice. Moving on to his legs, you know, he can, of course, split about that much. He can kick back about that much, and he can kick forward all the way. He does have the double jointed knees, and again, we're looking at the pinless joint system, which is awesome. I love the fact that there is no breakup there. We do have an upper thigh cut. We do have the articulation at the shin, and then, you know, we have nice up and down and swivel from the boot. So these figures are really cool. They're you know, initially I thought it was going to be an easy pass for me, because again, considering, you know, the future of the MCU and, you know, what we're looking at, but, you know, I think with things like the multiverse and in terms of just kind of display, these are iconic versions of these characters. They're both cast so well, much like Wolverine and much like the characters from Deadpool. So I think, you know, in terms of me having primarily a film collection, this made sense. I do have some problems with the Mystique figure, so I probably will be passing on that. I'm saying that now. But I'm really happy that I got these, and, you know, getting him up on a flight stand, you know, where he's kind of, it's going to look great. I mean, it's such a good figure. And, you know, and again, you know, having Xavier, you know, in the chair, you know, yeah, it's not like the glass chair that he uses, you know, in the film. It's more like just kind of, and Hasbro actually copped to it too. They reused the wheelchair from the Logan set, and that's fine. You know, there's only so much tooling you can do, and you're getting a lot here for $50. You know, and it is a nice wheelchair. It has some great detail on it, some great color, and again, like, think about your figure photography having Deadpool take over the wheelchair. So it's a great concept, and I really like it. So overall, what's my opinion on this set? So I think you have you have 3 really good head sculpts. You have one that's okay, and then you have 2 bad ones. Like, they're bad. There's no way around it. The Fassbender and the McAvoy heads are just not good. No. But that being said, you have a series of hands. You have two figures, one that's completely new sculpting as far as I can tell, and a wheelchair. So I think for that value alone, I think, you know, the $50 is great. And if you like these characters, if you grew up with this version of the X-Men on film, and you have the Logan figure, and you know, you want Professor X and Magneto, I don't think you can go wrong here. It's been a long time, you know, since I've had the likenesses of these characters in plastic form. I remember the Toy Biz ones back from, you know, the first and second X-Men films, and it's great to have them again. So, you know, I'm excited to have them. So I'm gonna go ahead and give these guys 2 thumbs up. I think the positives much outweigh the negatives of this 2-pack, and I think overall Hasbro once again did a great job. It's unfortunate, but that there are some problems. But you know what? Given the other figures that are in the wave, you know, the Wolverine, the Mystique, if you pick it up, the you really would want to display them with this version of Magneto and this version of Professor X, the Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart versions. They just fit with the figures better anyway. So that's that. So as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there so that way you don't miss videos like this. And then and make sure you hit that bell button too while you're down there. Why not? Ding. So that way you get a notification when we post videos like this. While you're subscribing to things, make sure you follow us here at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. So that way you can keep up with all the toy news and all the fun stuff that we're always talking about. And lastly, the podcast, where it all started. So make sure you find us Adventures in Collecting wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can hit that link in the video description below and subscribe wherever you wish. We're on Amazon Music now, so that's fun. And as always, stick around till after this. We'll do some additional pictures there in the light box, and I'll see you next time.